We are live. We are live. Okay, I'm just going to leave this up here, wait for one or two people to join in. At least I know that if I keep this little logo up, if I do edit it later, I can take it out. All right, we have people around. Thank you for joining. Friends, good afternoon, Paulie. How you doing? Okay, so we're on a mission of humanity here, and the aim, of course, objective is to get $5 sent to Von Helton as a donation. So what we're doing here is a community service. Hello, Tom. North Europe. Where's that? North Europe. North Europe could be, boy, I don't know, Hamburg, Baltics, Finland. That was the first thing on my mind. Should have gone with it. Right. Now my track is gone. So, yes. Okay, so we're doing a community service here. And the idea is to get $5 donation to Von Helton from Toby Michael, who essentially has promised to do that. I don't know where I put it though. Hang on a minute. Hang on a full minute. Not there. There. Okay, I don't know what I did with it, but maybe there it is. No. Okay. No, Icopria or Incopria is Toby Michael. I guess that's how you spell his name. But I had a slide. What I can do is I can let you know. Hold on a minute. Let me fill you in as best I can. Okay, so basically, this guy in Coprium is Toby Michael. He said secular covers the updates on YouTube Misfit. I guess he means YouTube Misfits. Von Helton is a YouTube Misfit. So you, in meaning me, Sydney Winston, you stalk one person every day. You make people want to donate to him just because you tell people not to. It's a sickness and a stalker mentality. Which, if it is, I'm sorry. But you shouldn't make fun of the sick. If I'm sick and my sickness is a stalker mentality, then I am mentally ill, and you, Toby Michael, are making fun of me. Shame on you. Shame on you, Toby Michael. You see, look, he says firstly, his grammar sucks. He's obviously not an educated person. But he says you are a stalker, just like Todd Mallicoat, who drives 8 hours to spend the whole night looking for Von Helton. Just like Todd, I am. All right. Nobody believes you. You're full of it. Toby. What else did you say? I don't know what happened. I had everything fully set up, and it's all messed up for me. But anyway, it's not messed up enough so that I can fix it. So what we're going to do is just get right into the meat of the subject. So today is 3i Atlas Day, and we're going to get two points of view, one from an astrophysicist and one from Von Helton. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the astrophysicist. Her name is Dr. Becky.
JWST's observations. And finally, let's talk about this research from Maggiolo and collaborators, which is the latest on Comet 3i Atlas, the interstellar comet visiting the solar system that was discovered back in July 2025. So this is a lump of rock, an asteroid or comet-like object that instead of orbiting the sun as part of our solar system, is just passing through. Is actually formed around another star in our galaxy before it's been ejected from its orbit around that star, and has been traveling through the space between stars, interstellar space, ever since, until it's just happened upon the solar system. There's been 2 of these found in the past. The first one, 1I, was dubbed Oumuamua, and that was found back in 2017, and the second one, 2I Borisov, was detected back in 2019. Now we know these are interstellar objects because their movements through the sky allow us to work out what their orbits are and show that they are not bound to the sun. They do not loop back around. So by studying these objects once we find them, we can learn so much about what they're made of, and are the comet-like things in our own solar system made of similar things, all trying to get at the root of this question of how did we all end up here. So of course, all our telescopes have been set the task of observing Comet 3i Atlas since it was discovered, including the Hubble Space Telescope, Gemini on Mauna Kea, the Very Large Telescope in Chile, and even some of the ESA missions in orbit around Mars and on their way to Jupiter, as we spoke about last month. But of course, the James Webb Space Telescope has also done its part to observe 3i Atlas as well. And we heard about that research back in September's Night Sky News episode. Specifically, this paper from Coordinate and collaborators described how the data from JWST revealed how the ratio of carbon dioxide to water, CO2 to H2O, was much higher for this comet than for your typical solar system comets. It was actually one of the highest ratios ever measured for a comet. And so Coordinate and collaborators discussed many possible explanations for this, including that the comet may have originally formed around its star close to what's known as the frost line or ice line, where it gets cold enough for carbon dioxide to condense from a gas into solid ice, i.e. dry ice. Or maybe the high ratio isn't that there's more carbon dioxide, but less water outgassing from this comet than normal. But the latest interpretation of that high CO2 to H2O ratio comes from Maggiolo and collaborators, who claim that it can be explained by the comet's exposure to what's known as galactic cosmic rays whilst it was in interstellar space. Now, galactic cosmic rays are protons that have been accelerated to huge speeds by extreme events like supernova, when a star dies and runs out of fuel and its outer layers are thrown outwards. It's in this process that these protons are accelerated. They're kind of like interstellar radioactive particles, which we are thankfully mostly shielded from by the sun's own bubble of charged particles, which create a magnetic field around the solar system that deflects all but the highest energy galactic cosmic rays. That means that comets in the solar system won't have been exposed to many galactic cosmic rays, and so the material on their surface hasn't been changed by that exposure. Whereas an interstellar comet exposed for millions, maybe even billions of years to any and all galactic cosmic rays is going to show signs of that exposure. And Maggiolo and collaborators point out that lab experiments have shown that if you bombard carbon monoxide, CO, with high energy protons, it undergoes a chemical reaction and forms carbon dioxide, CO2, and a whole host of other molecules. Now, Maggiolo and collaborators even ran a simulation showing how the ratio of CO2 and CO to H2O changes with depth under the surface of the comet after exposure to galactic cosmic rays over 1 billion years. And so what you can see here in this graph is that deep in the comet, where the material is protected from cosmic rays, you have a very high carbon monoxide to water ratio, CO to H2O, what's shown in the black line there. But as you get closer to the surface of the comet, moving left on this graph, the carbon monoxide starts to get converted into carbon dioxide, CO2, which is what's shown in the red curve. So much so that in that top 10 meters of the comet's surface, you've just got that really high ratio of CO2 to H2O. So that does unfortunately seem seem to neatly explain the JWST observations of 3I Atlas. And I say unfortunately there because of the implications for what this means for what we can actually learn from interstellar objects. Ideally, these would be perfect fossils for what comets are like in other star systems, and we could work out what are they made of, and is it different from solar system objects, and that could tell us about how the solar system came to be. But if the outer layers are instead processed this much by exposure to this interstellar radiation of galactic cosmic rays, then that really does limit how much we can learn from these interstellar visitors, at least by using telescopes anyway, because under that top layer it still should be that pristine fossil, but to get at it we'd have to send a spacecraft to one of these interstellar visitors, a mission that would require a very quick turnaround, right? 3I Atlas was discovered back in July. It made its closest pass to the sun and Earth in October, only a few months later, before it's starting to shoot back out of the solar system again. Now, thankfully, the Rubin Observatory is coming online imminently, and that is set to survey the sky every 3 nights. So what that means is that it will come back to each section of the sky to take another image every 3 nights for us to be able to spot all the things that have moved or flickered and changed in that time. And the hope is that around 70 interstellar comets will be spotted by Rubin each year. So not only will that hopefully help us work out, how common is it for these interstellar objects to have this processing by galactic cosmic rays, but also hopefully give us enough advance warning.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Becky. That pretty much explains how CO2 is coming out of that thing. Okay. But I want to get you back to this graphic here. So what started it all was Incopria, who is Toby Michael, sent me this. He wrote a comment on I guess under one of my videos, and he said that you're a stalker just like Todd. And then he said, Sydney Winston, $5 for every stalker vid you make. Vaughn thanks you. And then I made a stalker video, I guess. Oh no, he must have been referring to the first one, because within 5 minutes he claimed to have sent Vaughn $5. So now we can safely say that Von Helton has a regular income as long as Sydney Winston starts keeping on documenting Von Helton's life. So let's switch over right now to the star of the show, and we'll get Von Helton to start earning his $5, huh? Let's do it. Let's do it. If I can figure out how, I will do it. All right. Here we
go. All righty. As Sharpie is in the background. Hello, Sharpie. Now, Sharpie's over my shoulder there, or he was. He's looking out the window now. Anyway, and some loud muffler vehicle is going by. I have a quick Atlas update. The speed at which Atlas is going has now been increased from 130,000 miles an hour to now 153,000 miles an hour, which is a very significant jump in speed, as you might well imagine. And like I said, my understanding is that its trajectory has been altered closer to Earth, not farther away, closer to Earth. Now, is it on a collision course? Well, that I do not know, because if I did, I'd tell you. But I do not know, and I suspect nobody would tell you even if it was, to be honest. However, its trajectory is closer to Earth, and its speed has been radically increased from 130 to 153,000 miles an hour. That's fast. That's extremely fast. So, it may get here before December 19th. Since the speed has been increased, it may get here before December 19th, but they're still all saying December 19th. So that's what we're going to go with till we know better, right? But yeah, interestingly enough, that's where we're at on that, is the speed has been dramatically increased. And as usual, I like to give you updates and keep you abreast of what's going on, because hey, We don't know what this thing. I can't say definitively what this thing is, and neither can anybody else. Now, supposedly, there was somebody, I believe, as I got an itch, supposedly somebody, I think it was in Australia or somewhere, they had a telescope, and might even been Hawaii, but anyway, it was somewhere, not here, where that they happened to throw their telescope up and happened to catch Atlas up there in the sky, doing all kinds of weird shit. And, they confirm that it is indeed an oblong-shaped thing. And it has two tails. It has a false tail and a true tail. And a few other things. But I just thought I'd let you know about that, too. So you can look that up on your own time and get the information off of that. But the big story is that the speed has been dramatically increased from 130,000 to 153,000 miles an hour. So that's quite a dramatic jump in speed. And so it's very possible that it may get here before December 19th. So everybody keep your head on a swivel. I do not know what this thing is. I do know that Swan and his 6 buddies tried to stop it, and they did stop it, but then it somehow got back under steam again, and just got back up and kept on trucking. So, be advised, folks, it is not a rock. I'm fairly convinced Atlas is not a rock. Now, I don't know what it is. Is it a space whale? Some sort of biological entity? Is it a spaceship? Is it something else? Who the hell knows? But I don't think it's a rock. Rocks don't just arbitrarily change their direction. They don't arbitrarily change their speed. They don't launch probes. 7 objects were launched from Atlas, supposedly. Oh, it's debris, Von. Yeah, well, okay. Well, the debris just happens to be in sync with Atlas. Yeah, come on. Debris don't work that way. So yeah, it was probes of some kind, I'm almost certain. It's either probes or fighter aircraft. I mean, take your pick. You want fighter aircraft instead? We can go there. We can go there. Of course, it would. I think if it was fighter aircraft, it would launch a lot more than just 8. But see, the thing of it is, it was 8 objects. There was one initial object, remember, and then it launched 7 more objects. Well, it just so happens that we have 8 planets in the solar system. So was that a probe for every planet of our solar system? Yes. That's my take on it. And I'm pretty sure it's several other people's take on it as well. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk about the increase in speed, because that's a pretty dramatic increase in speed, boys and girls. Going from 130,000 miles an hour to 153,000 miles an hour, yeah, that's a pretty big jump in speed. So it may get here before the 19th of December, considering the speed increase. So keep your head on a swivel and be prepared for anything, because it could be anything. All right, y'all have a wonderful day. Bye.
Well, there you go. So what we got here is another $5 heading to Von Helton, courtesy of Toby Michael. On behalf of Von Helton, on behalf of all of the whole troll community, Toby, we thank you. We hope you keep the money rolling in as the videos keep rolling out. And what I'd like to do is get a sign from Von Helton that he's actually received the money. And I assume that if he keeps on making videos, he'll mention the $5 he got from he might not even mention the name, but it will come from Toby. And Toby's got lots of money. He's a very successful person with an opinion that obviously has not been part of his lead up to success, but he wants to publicly proclaim it on YouTube, on my channel. Sure, I'll take up the challenge, Toby. So get that $5 off to Von Helton then. And to all my friends, every one of you, thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon. I just can't say when exactly. Take care. Bye.